Light. We cannot see in a dark room. We need light to see things around us. When light falls on the objects, it bounces back to our eyes. Then, we are able to see those objects. Where does this light come from? Let us discuss sources of light. Sources of light. An object emits light is called a source of light. All sources of light can be classified into two categories: natural and artificial light. Natural sources of light. The sun is the most important natural source of light. The stars and moon are also natural sources of light, but they are not as bright as the sun. Fireflies also emit natural light. Artificial sources of light. They are the man-made sources of light. For example, candles, fire, and oil lamps. Electric light is the most important form of artificial light. Luminous and non-luminous objects. The objects that we see around us can be classified into luminous and non-luminous on the basis of ability to emit light. Luminous objects. Objects that emit light of their own are called luminous objects. Sun, fireflies, fire, candle, and electric bulb are luminous objects. Non-luminous objects. Objects that do not emit light of their own, but reflect the light falling on them and hence become visible are called non-luminous objects. Moon, books, metals, stones, and furniture are non-luminous objects. Why are moon and planets considered as non-luminous objects? All of you must have seen the moon at night giving out milky white light. Similarly, the planet Venus appears like a very bright star during early evening. Why do we call them non-luminous bodies when light is coming from them? The simple reason is that they do not produce light of their own. Instead, they reflect the light of the sun falling on them. Hence, they are non-luminous bodies. Properties of light. Light is an invisible energy, which gives us the sensation of vision. When light falls on an object, it bounces off the surface. This is called reflection of light. Light travels at a very high speed. It is the reason that we see the sparkling lights of firecrackers first and hear the sound later. Light travels in a straight line. Let's know more. There are certain mushrooms that emit light. They are mostly found in the northern parts of Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and Japan. Transparent, translucent, and opaque objects. We see many objects in our surroundings. Some objects allow light to pass through them, and some other do not. Objects are classified into 3 types on the basis of passing light through them. They are transparent, translucent, and opaque. Transparent. The objects that allow light to pass through them and through which things can be seen clearly are called transparent objects. Water, air, and glass are examples of transparent objects. Translucent. The objects through which things can be seen partially are called translucent objects. They allow light to partially pass through them. Frosted glass, mist, clouds, oil paper, and dirty water are examples of translucent objects. Opaque. The objects that do not allow light to pass through them are called opaque. We cannot see through them. Table, chair, books, pencils, and coffee mug, etc. are examples of opaque objects. Uses of transparent, translucent, and opaque objects. Glass, transparent, is used in window panes to let the sunlight come into the house and to see outside view. Also, it is used to make lenses and mirrors. Measuring devices such as measuring cylinder, beakers, and thermometer are also made using glass. Frosted glass, translucent, is used in window panes or doors to allow partial light to enter into room. Curtains and wooden or steel doors, opaque, are used to block light from outside to enter. Formation of shadows. If you place an opaque object in the path of light, a dark shape of the object is formed on the opposite side of light. This dark shape is called shadow. Thus, a clear shadow forms when there is a source of light, an object that blocks the light coming from the source, and a wall or a screen on the opposite side of the light source. Features of shadow. A shadow is always black or dark gray in color. A shadow is formed on the surface opposite to the source of light. Shadows can be different shapes and sizes. When the object is close to the source of light, it casts a larger shadow. If the object is far from the source of light, it casts a smaller shadow. Only the opaque objects cast a shadow. Have you seen your shadow during the day? Its size keeps on changing during the day. The size of the shadow is shortest at noon and longest in the early morning and in the evening.